Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, and welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone that is coming into the room. Welcome to everybody that is watching live. Welcome to everybody that is watching the replay. Welcome to this episode of Hit Talks. Now, I am, as you may all know, super excited, and it is amazing. They are my two words, super excited, amazing, to have this magical lineup. So super excited, amazing, and magic. That is what this episode of Hit Talks and all the episodes of Hit Talks is going to be about. And the lineup of speakers, honestly, I am shaking inside with not just excitement, but with gratitude of the presence, the magic, and the messages of the hope, the messages of the inspiration, and the transformational messages that everybody is going to bring to you. So every speaker is going to share with you from their heart a message from their heart in 8 minutes. And we're just going to go with the flow. We're just going to enjoy it. We're just going to have fun. And we're just going to bring the magic of this new moon that we're in, the magic of the summer solstice, the magic of the energy that we have around us into this episode of Hit Talks. So I'm going to welcome you to a special guest that we have. We have two Hit Talks today, which I am really excited about because this special guest is all the way from Chile, an amazing musician. And the one thing that I love about Hit Talks is that every single person that comes onto Hit Talk as a guest, as a speaker, has some closeness to my heart. And they're either connected to me by somebody, or they're actually somebody that I've met on my world travels. And this next gentleman that I'm bringing on, I met on my world travels in Peru. And if anyone has a heart of God, if anybody has a voice that can just make every single cell in our body vibrate, this gentleman has it. And you can hear the excitement in my voice, because when I spoke to him yesterday and I said, Andreas, please, 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 can you be part of Hit Talks? And he was like, yes, sister, I can. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So I am so, so blessed that Andreas and his brother is with us. And I'm just going to give him the floor for him to spread what he's going to sing about. I've got no idea. I just know it's going to be magical. So thank you so much for being here, Andreas. And Hit Talks welcomes you, and they welcome you to the stage.
Thank you so much, Vicky. So magical and powerful words, my dear sister. So I feel so honored to share this space with you and the whole people here. You know, we are in Chile now, and this is Guillermo Sanfurgo. Everybody knows him as a Memo. You know, he's an excellent musician. It's an honor to play this song. There is a very special song that I made with my daughter like 2 years ago. It's called Aurora Song. It's a calling to the spirit of the Andes, you know. So called the spirit of the eagle and the condor and the hummingbird, you know. So I will play the guitar and sing, and Memo will join us with the flute, you know. So with all our heart, our soul, our best intention, you know, we will share this with all of you. So thank you so much for inviting us. You really, I'm very glad to share this space. Thank you so much.
Great to hear.
Here we go. Blessings. Positive vibes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love those words, as you know. So thank you for being part of this. Thank you for sharing. Stay on the line, Andreas, and I can just feel the energy of everything that you said, and the energy and the magic. And this is what I love about Hit Talks is it's not just where we share messages. It's not just where, you know, we share hope, inspiration, and transformation from the heart, but it's connecting. So every single one of us here as speakers, every single one of us here as guests that's actually watching here live. And again, welcome to everyone that's joined us here live, that's still coming into the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And obviously the people that are watching the replay. But it's bringing together a family. It's bringing together connections. It's bringing together people that can do things together. Because, you know, we're all connected, we are all one. And when you meet people all over the world and you feel these people from your heart, then you actually know that they're connected. And this brings me on to my next special guest, my very good friend, Rick. And when I talk about being connected, very, very deeply connected. So sometimes you meet people and you know that they're going to be in your life forever. And, you know, even to the point of, you know, my daughter or my husband and my children, you know, and them all talking. And so it is the whole idea of Hit Talks is not just for us to bring hope, inspiration, and transformation together, but it's to bring everybody together. It's to bring people together, because the more the things that we do together, the more things we do together, and we do it from love without any ego, and we just do it from a place that is there to spread magic, then we know that whatever we desire will be delivered. And I would like to bring my good friend on, Rick Nahara, who is currently he will share with you his story, but not only is he an amazing Hollywood director, film producer, writer, actor, and just a man of amazingness. But I think I'll leave the special word that we've created tonight to Danny when he comes on. But I would like to give the floor to you, Rick. So take it away, my friends.
Well, thank you, Vicky. That's an amazing introduction. Number one, it's odd because when we started this, and Vicky told me never plan what to say, to live in the now, and not come together with speeches and things like that. And I really said, okay, I'm not going to ever prepare a speech, and that's a unique thing to ask, because most people are terrified to speak publicly and on a Zoom call as we get into the modern world. And so you only have to tell your story. And my story is right now I'm filming in the Lake Tahoe area. And it's the first film coming out of COVID. So there's all these protocols they use. So someone checking your temperature, and they're checking your heart rate, and they put your finger in a machine that checks your oxygen rate, and all these 1,000 things. And on top of that, with all that around you, you have to do a Christmas comedy. And you have to tell your story. And I thought to myself, that's where I'm at. I'm in a place right now, I'm in a hotel room. Normally I'm isolated before I go on set. And when I'm on set, I have to wear the mask and all that. But then once I film, I take everything off. So there's a certain amount of fear that comes with a pandemic, and the fear of what could happen to you. We're not even sure what this pandemic is actually. There's all these talk about possibly you don't have immunity to it after you've caught it. So there's even no benefit to catch it because you'll get immunity if you survive. That might be taken off the ground or the floor. So there's all these different thoughts going on. And here I filmed yesterday, and I'm playing kind of a Santa character. And so I'm jolly and happy all the time. And I'm happy during the worst pandemic we've experienced in our lifetime. And I have to play happy all the time. And so I put myself together, and I'm happy, and I'm doing all that in the scenes. And I come off the show, and it's been a long night shoot, and I come back to my room. And as I'm going to the hotel, I get a phone call from my brother that tells me my mother may have had a heart attack. She's going to go to the emergency room. And so I went from this moment of just joy that I did my part and it was great. I'm still going to be filming for another week. And with all this pressure on me, I felt I came through. And then as I'm happy, elated, I get a phone call. And at first I was going through all these emotions of almost anger. I couldn't explain it because I was angry at God. And it was like, why now is this happening? Why now is this going on? I couldn't think of a worse time for it to happen. And so processing it and thinking about why was I angry at God, I started to think about it. I started taking it apart. And myself was in a coma a few years ago. I nearly died. And that became the beginning of my spiritual journey, I would say. I mean, I'm just taking small steps now. In no way would call myself this spiritual being, but we all are to a certain extent. And so feeling that way and knowing that, I started taking it apart. Why? Because when I was in the coma and I came out of the coma, and I think that's when I really woke up. Sometimes you have to go into a coma to truly wake up. And I started re-examining my life, and to get myself together, I had to go to a place called Optimum Health Institute, which is all raw food and you know, plant-based and organic and all these things. And it's a really reset my body. And one of the things they would tell you is right now you have a health opportunity. And they didn't call it a health problem. It was a health opportunity. And I thought that was interesting. The word opportunity, instead of you have a health issue, or you have a health problem, or you have a medical emergency, you have an opportunity. And it was drummed in my head. And as I would, being a Hollywood writer and all that, we tend to be very pessimistic people. And so I was thinking opportunity. And it never, sometimes you get a message. And a message, I call it from God or spirit or universe, whatever you want to call it. It's a small voice in your head. And I started saying, yeah, it is an opportunity. I have learned about my body. I have overcome certain things. It was an opportunity. And even with my mother in the hospital, it was an opportunity to understand her more. And luckily today, she's out of danger and she's fine. And I went from this emotion to this emotion to this emotion. And I thought about what it means to have an opportunity. There are no promises per se in life, but there's opportunities. And there are no, paths that you have to take or do these things. There's many paths that you can follow, and each one will bring a different outcome. And I looked at it and I said, yes, this is my opportunity. And it gave me a chance to see the world and look at it differently and think, yeah, even with this, even with all these things going on, it is an opportunity. And I say that because I started thinking about pandemics and plagues that have been throughout the world. I mean, there was the Black Plague in Europe. What happened after the Black Plague in Europe is the Middle Ages went into the Renaissance, the regrowth, humanity looking at their own beauty. And that beauty came from the Creator, which is God. And it celebrated, in a way, our beauty that was delivered from God. The art was a celebration of our humanity and life. And life is a gift. We've been given this amazing gift. And that's the one thing I learned out of coming out of a coma, is that every day that I left that coma was a brand new day. It was the beginning of a new life. It was the beginning of an opportunity to embrace life more. It was the beginning of a chance to look at the world differently. And if you recognize the opportunity you've been given, and in that you want to give that opportunity to other people, if you recognize what life has given you and how precious life is, that's an opportunity as well. Shakespeare wrote King Lear during a plague. Darwin, was Newton. Newton discovered many things during a plague. His greatest theories were during a plague. So even this plague and this pandemic that we're under, and even with all the things that are happening around us, and we're seeing people like, I believe my mother was 3 months in isolation. That must have been hard for her heart. She's a very loving and giving woman. So all that And you see that, and I said, opportunity. We've been given an opportunity to reset our lives. We've been given an opportunity to look at ourselves and think, what do we want to do next? What do we want to learn from this pandemic? What do we want to learn about and opportunities in our life? So even though people would look at me and see me filming or doing these things, I really believe I'm doing it out of love. And it hit me. I said, we're doing a Christmas story. And Christmas is always about hope. And we're doing a story during the most hard time that we've encountered in our lives. We're giving back to people. And if I, for some reason, did catch the COVID or did die, at least I was living and loving and giving back and following my path and giving more people opportunity. Because this is what this is, opportunity. And if you're out there listening to the Hit Talks and what people are talking, there's many great speakers that'll come on. You'll hear their stories. You're given an opportunity. So that's what my message is today. Even in the worst times, we're given opportunity. And this is the opportunity that I'll make the best of. Yes, I'll see my mother soon. I'm not able to see her. She's in a hospital and they won't let me see her. I won't be able to. But I know she knows I'm there, and I'll call her when they allow it, and I'll see her, and I'll love her more. And that's what we can learn from this, to love each other more and to give back more and take this opportunity today to love someone more in your life, to tell them. You know, Sanjeev always said that many people when they're dying regret many things. And one of the things they regret is actually saying, I love you. So you have an opportunity today. You're alive and you're living. Tell the person next to you, I love you. And thank you for speaking today. And thanking me for allowing to hear your great words that are coming for other speakers. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
That's my time.
Thank you so much, Rick. Love you too. So I can say to every single speaker in this room that I love you from my heart. And that is why you are here. That is why you're part of Hit Talks. And this is why Rick has always said from the beginning of when we started this, that he wants to be part of every single one of them. And you do. You wake up tired in the mornings, sometimes from working so late, but you're always here, and you spread the message. You understand the vision behind Hit Talks. You understand why we're doing it, and it is purely from the heart to spread messages. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So opportunities, and it's funny that you actually say opportunities, because I used to run a global networking club in London, and everybody knowed me. Is that English? No, that's not very good English, is it? Maybe that's everyone knew me as Miss Opportunities. And because I used to use that word more than I used to use the word amazing, believe it or not. The word amazing and the word magic has only come into my field in the last 2 years, or maybe 3 years. But before, it was always Miss Opportunities, and exactly what you say, that life is precious. The people around us are precious. And it is our choice of who we spend time with. It is our choice of who we speak to. It's our choice of who we text. It is our choice. We do have a choice to be with the best people. And thank you very much to, as I say, to everybody here for being just so amazing, because I love that word. So I would like to now bring the next opportunity to a doctor. And they're going to be looking, thinking, oh my gosh, there are so many doctors here, so many doctors. Who am I going to choose? Who am I going to choose first? But I am going to bring the floor to Dr. Sheshni. And I do have to say that this lady is new in my life, but I do know that this lady will be in my life for a long time, because you can tell from the soul connections. And not only was she introduced to me by Sanjeev, however, she was introduced to me through Hit Talks from somebody that has actually been on the other side of Hit Talks, watching every single episode, sharing it from the rooftop, shouting about it, and really understanding it, spreading the message of this hope and inspiration and the transformation with all over the world, to getting me on radio shows. So the mission is to get Hit Talks into hospitals, to get Hit Talks into the elderly care homes. So instead of watching Jeremy Kyle or any other movies or any other shows that they watch, they can watch some hope, some inspiration and some transformation. So we do have big visions, and having amazing people around me to help me spread this mission, because it's not about me, it's about all of us together doing this together. So Sheshini, thank you so much for being part of Hit Talks, and I would like to bring you on to the stage, the online stage, for you to share your 8 minutes. Take it away, my love.
Thank you, Vicky, and thank you everyone that's here. I just want to start off by saying namaste. And the reason why I'm saying namaste is it was purposefully my introduction, because it's to honor the divine in you, and the divine in me honors you, because you are here today. You've taken the step to join Vicky Thomas Hit Talks, which is, as you've heard, is possibly the next TED Talks that you're going to be listening to, in your home, on TV, in hospitals, wherever you're going to be. And I really want to honor you and to say thank you for joining us today, because without you, this would not have been possible. And following on from Rick's talk, I think his talk, it's really a hard act to follow today, Rick. You've set the bar so high. But I really want to say, using that word opportunity, I'm so grateful to Vicky Thomas and to Sanjeev Chopra for recommending me to Vicky to talk today on the Hit Talks. And also to be joining the other great and amazing speakers that are here today. I really am so grateful that I'm here today sharing this platform with speakers like Dr. Sanjeev Chopra, who I did a talk on happiness about, a podcast. So that is what my talk is going to be about today. And also to be sharing the floor with his wife, Amita Chopra, and all the other amazing speakers. I do want to first, before I jump into my talk, I really want to say that Hit Talks has really been that health opportunity for me, as Rick just said. I was going through my own challenges during this COVID-19. And like you watching as a guest, I too was a guest, watching the Hit Talks, listening to the speakers about hope, inspiration and transformation. And I was going through a very difficult and challenging time. And even as a doctor and psychiatrist, and despite my resilient tools, I felt that I was drawn to Hit Talks. And I want to say why it's so important with this Hit Talks is Vicky and I did a radio show with Opoku Opare. We are on Hospital Radio Bedford. Opoku is also listening today. And Vicky said a very important thing. She said Hit Talks is about, it does what it says on the tin. And she's right. And it's true. Because I myself, as I've just said, I've had my own personal experience of attending Hit Talks and also benefiting from it, from the hope, the inspiration, and the transformation. And therefore, I know that it does what it says on the tin. And that brings me now to my speech. So I'm going to be talking about happiness. Happiness is something which I know best. So as a doctor and psychiatrist, I've actually made it my duty to master the secrets to happiness. And the reason I've done that is because if I have to help and heal and help other people and support them through their journeys of hope, inspiration, and transformation, I realized that I needed to practice what I preached. So I've mastered the skills and the secrets of happiness and of resilience. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel and of happiness, in no way. And there's so many experts that we hear from daily, like Sanjeev Chopra. If you've attended the previous Hit Talks, he and Gina Wild, they did a book on the 2 most important days, the day you were born and the day that you discover your life purpose, which is a quote by Mark Twain. And you might have heard Sanjeev say that. It's one of his favorite quotes. amongst others. So there's a lot of people that are wise and share their wisdom about happiness, as well as His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. So I'm in no way reinventing the wheel. But what I want to talk about is about why I'm invested in happiness and why you should too in your happiness. So it takes me back to a meditation retreat in Spain, in Gurapa. I'm passionate about meditation and I wanted to become a teacher. And at the meditation retreat of the Bright Path meditation, which is similar to the TM, the Transcendental Meditation, the Maharishi, the teacher, asked each person what is their one desire. And a lot of people put their hands up, and one said it was joy, peace, love, financial freedom. There were so many different things. But in a group of over 100 like-minded people, all meditating, wanting to become meditation teachers, most people put their hands up that they wanted happiness. And that's when I realized that actually it dawned on me that happiness is the one thing that each and every person on this earth is aspiring to. And that's why I've invested my time into this. Which brings me to my book and what I am trying to promote. As much as I'm trying to promote HIT, I want to get the message across about rich. So it's not richness in wealth and not richness in monetary or your success, but it's richness in happiness. So rich is an acronym for realizing I create happiness. So I want those words to sink in. Just take it on board. Realizing I create happiness. And that's my message to you today is, and as well as using this opportunity of me being able to speak, is for you, it's the only thing you remember from my speech is rich, realizing that I create happiness. And so many people might think, oh, how can you say we can create happiness? But it's true. And what I want you to do is change your mindset from looking at external things. How many of us, and myself included, we always think, okay, I'm going to be happy if I get that body, that perfect body. I'm going to be happy if I get that job. I'm going to be happy if I get that break in my career. I'm going to be happy if I get that car. Or I'm going to be happy if I have that certain someone or certain lover or certain relationships. And let's be honest, we've all fell into temptation with this. We've become happy. Yes, it does create temporary happiness. But what happens after that? We then desire something else. So my message is that you need to take that power of that happiness from external sources and you need to take that power back to yourself. So change your mindset from external things and believing that all these external things are going to make you happy and conjure your happiness. Because it will do it for temporary. We can all feel happy doing very many things and experiences, as you will hear from other people. But that doesn't take away the fact that you yourself can create the happiness for yourself. I mentioned meditation is one of those tools that creates your happiness, and it's one of the tools that I use, as well as changing your mindset, as I've just said, from actually believing that internally you can create that happiness. And before I conclude, I want you to do a simple exercise with me. I want you to close your eyes, a simple meditation, and I want you to go to your happy place. I want you to place your hand on your heart. So this meditation is inspired by Amita Chopra. She did a meditation at the last HIT talks. And it's also inspired by Vicky, who said, speak from your heart. So I want you to continue breathing and imagine a happy place, a place that you can go to. So it can be something you've created or something you've experienced in the past. It can be somewhere where you are alone or you're with your family and friends. You're surrounded by the beauty of nature, a lake, a beach. You're surrounded by sounds, by beauty of flowers. You can feel the sun or whatever temperature is around you. And you're experiencing with all your five senses. And I want you to conjure and harness that feeling of happiness. Just feel how happy you are and have that same feeling in your heart. And I want you to remember this happy place when we come out of this. I want you to be aware of your breathing and how you are feeling and experiencing this moment. And when you are sad or when you're faced with challenges, especially during this pandemic, as we've just heard from Rick, we are all facing these challenges. I want you to remember and go back to this happy place. So on the count of 3, I want you to open your eyes. So 1, 2, 3. And whenever you're feeling down, try and do this happiness exercise. Go to your happy place. You can do it for 5 to 10 minutes every day for maximum benefit. And realize that I create happiness, that you create happiness, and start believing in rich. So yes, to each and every one of you, happiness, and to the magic of Hitch Talks, which is creating and inspiring us with hope and transformation. Thank you everyone for listening, and namaste.
Thank you, my love. Lovely, 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 lovely to hear from you. And namaste to you as well. And again, thank you so much for all of the spreading of the love and the messages that you do for Hit Talks, really understanding what we're here to do. So namaste, namaste, namaste. And I would like to now give the floor to another amazing connector. And this lady actually connected me to Sanjeev and Rick the first time that I met these people in her event in Mexico. So she was doing a Latino event where I was speaking on stage over there. And she's also, I think it's 17 books that she's published, and she's also, I think, 2 nonprofits, so many things of inspiration around the world, and for her to spread her message of hope, inspiration and transformation to us here at Hit Talks. Jackie, thank you so much for being with us, my love, and I give you the floor.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for this beautiful opportunity. It's so beautiful to see so many familiar faces, and to be in this space in time to be able to share a message of hope and inspiration. As you all know, we've gone through a very interesting time with the pandemic, and I want to weave in some of the things that I have intentionally taken on to do during this time frame, but also weave in a little bit about my journey in life. And again, thank you so much, Vicky, for creating this beautiful space to share from our heart and to create magics. As my word is magics, which is magic times 10, that I use constantly, because I believe that we live in a magical world, and that's the space that we create every single day. In the first 2 weeks of this pandemic, I was baffled. I didn't know what to do. The shock of coming back from Mexico and my dad almost dying with 2 brain issues that, when we got there, he was unconscious. So coming back to this reality of confinement and coming back to the reality of, what is going to happen now? We've never experienced anything like this to this level. So a lot of the emotions were there. And then I remember week number 3. I remember how profound that was, because I felt like this jolt of energy came directly to my heart. I knew that I had been in this place before, this place of where I activated my resiliency. You see, I have been on this planet for 37 years, and I have been a cancer survivor 2 times. Since I was 21 years old, and then another time when I was 23. And coincidentally, an Indian spice, cardamom, saved my life. So starting a company right around that time, and knowing that, I had a 3% chance of living a normal life after this congenital condition was found. And knowing that I was embarking on starting a new company. Right when the recession hit here in the United States in 2008, and all these different things, and having a fire in my house. So I knew how to activate a resiliency button before, from surviving, from thriving, from surviving the fire, from coming to the United States at the age of 14, and all these things. So I decided week number 3 to activate 3 things that I want to share with you. I want to leave this with you so that you can internalize it in your own life. And if it helps you, if it adds value and sparkles a little bit of magics to your life, I would be pleased and served. One is that I decided to use every moment to encapsulate my intellectual property. And you see, all of us have that magic inside of us. All of us have knowledge, wisdom, experiences that can be beautifully captured in a book, in a course, in a program like this, like Vicky's doing, to share our value with other people and extend our soul. My German teacher told me that writing was an extension of my soul, and I was so focused on that. And that's probably the reason why I have 17 books at 37 years old, and I'll have 24 books before I turn 38. And because I want to continue to extend my soul. So take the time, encapsulate your intellectual property, make that magic happen in your life. Second, I decided to intentionally sparkle kindness to all those people around me, whether it would be somebody that needed money for food or a young lady from my foundation that was lost and she needed a word of inspiration. I have sent more teddy bears, chocolates, flowers, my board games, my books, my journals in the last 10 weeks than I had done in the previous 24 months, because I intentionally want to be that intercept of creating that magic in somebody's life. And I think we all have that ability to say, you know what, let me take 2 minutes of my life to add a little bit of value to yours. And let me share with you that I believe in you, that you're destined for greatness. And I do that intentionally every day. 3, I decided that I was going to thrive. I told my employees and the people that I support, which is about 20 people between my 2 organizations, that we were going to get to this together and that I was going to use this opportunity to thrive. And by the end of the pandemic, I was going to give every single one of them a raise. I've started that process with my team, and I think that we can activate something within us that allow us to go deeper and to change what is happening and find that source within us to be able to create more than what we've ever created and really add accelerators to our lives. So I've decided to create, I've decided to sparkle, I've decided to thrive. And finally, what I want to say is that I became one of the few Latina sports airplane pilots in the United States. And when I think about becoming that pilot in command, and the times, every time that I decide to take off on that aircraft and be that pilot in command, I know that taking off is optional and landing is mandatory. And for me, surviving cancer, surviving a fire, coming to the United States, learning to speak German and English, writing 1 book and 2 and 17 and soon to be 24, to me, it's activated a sense of urgency to serve all those experiences. So I hope that today you get reminded that when you activate that resiliency, you activate that value, you begin to create intentionally, to sparkle intentionally your magic in the world, and to decide to make that decision to thrive. I think you're going to find inevitably that not only you're taking off, but you're also going to be able to land on your dreams safely. So thank you so much. It is a pleasure and honor to be here and share this space with all of you. Thank you, Vicky, for the invitation.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part of Hit Talks. And create, sparkle, and thrive. That is the thing. We're all here to create, as Sheshni said, create happiness and create magic. Now, did you know in the dictionary, magic, okay, there's an informal word of magic, a British informal word. So the dictionary meaning of magic is the power of influencing events by using mysterious or supernatural forces. That is what the dictionary says magic means. But as I say, there's an informal dictionary intake of magic, and it's called Wonderful and Exciting. So I am going to be now writing to the British consul and Collins and everyone that does all the dictionaries throughout the world and add another word on there for magic, which is wonderful and exciting, what they say. Then I'm going to ask them to add on amazing. So it's wonderful, exciting, and amazing. So yeah, that's what you're going to have to keep me accountable to, so we can actually create, as Jackie said, some more magic, some more sparkle, and let's all thrive together in the world. And let's say that word again, together in the world. So, and let's talk about thriving here, and let's talk about really supporting people in the world. Now, this next lady is not just divinely beautiful, but her heart just screams service as well. So she supports as a philanthropist all over the world. She works with the Russian Ballet. She does international events. She is, you know, what have I put down here? She's an advisor also to government organizations. She does so much, and it's great to actually have just so amazing connections of people that, as I say, are here to serve, that are here to actually make a difference. So Olga, I would like to bring you to the stage for you to share your story, and I love you so much. Thank you for being here.
Well, I'm already speechless. Thank you so much, dearest Vicky, for inviting me. You've created this amazing platform, so much inspiration, so much power, so much love. My previous speakers gave me this power and made me very, very nervous, because even I, from very, very young age, I was exposed to the stage, and I started performing as a pianist, as a little young pianist. And I managed to battle this fear to be on the stage and play in front of many people. Still, when it comes to talking, somehow I get really shy, and I'm not sure really how to give all my passion and all my ideas I have to the people who are listening to me. But I'll try my best. It seems that the previous speakers who gave such inspirational speeches, they all survived and they came alive again. And it made them be even stronger, and it made them appreciate life even more. Well, I'm not an exception. 2 years ago, I also went through a very, very dramatic moment of my life when, being on holiday with friends in a lovely company, I've been simply pushed from a cliff by a car, and I was on a scooter motorbike. I was simply pushed from a cliff, and I should have died. I flew more than 50 meters just down, and in these few seconds I had to say goodbye to everything, and I had my adorable son with me, so it was a double trauma. But we both survived, and we are here, and it made me appreciate life much more as well. Well, 3 main words of this program: hope, inspiration, and transformation. And I think all 3 words been following me from my early childhood. As I already explained to you, I started performing as a young girl. I was trained to become a concert pianist, and in fact, I'm still performing, not as much as I used to. I've traveled the world as a concert pianist. I performed as a soloist with different orchestras, with many wonderful musicians. I was really, really privileged. I went through the best, most demanding schools, conservatory in St. Petersburg in Russia. This is where I originally come from. Then the famous Mozarteum Academy in Austria, and then Royal College of Music in London. Every time to be on the stage and to perform, you had to be so strong, and you have to know, you have to inspire people who are listening to you. And unless you achieve doing this, you're doing wrong thing, and you should not be on the stage. You should not be a performer. And this challenge I had for many, many years, from my childhood and my youth and late in life. A journey of a performer, of a musician, is a very, very tough one, but a beautiful one at the same time, because you give this power and inspiration to so many people around you. Apart from performing, I've started organizing events, and as Vicky kindly made this introduction about me and my activities, yes, I ended up organizing many events, many international events, cultural, humanitarian events. I started advising various governments. Being a promoter, being an impresario, being an organizer of events is not an easy job at all, because you're facing so many logistical and financial issues, and especially when you're organizing very large events. And this is what I ended up doing. I've started, of course, with something smaller, but then eventually, and I was developing very, very quickly. Events were growing in sizes, in their complexities, in geography. I was organizing events really in many different countries, in Europe, in the United States, in the Far East, even in Africa. So I was becoming acting totally international. And every time I had to overcome lots of challenges, and to be strong, and to know that whatever I'm doing, it is for a purpose. It's to give the inspiration to all the people who come to my events and who become part of these events. That was very, very important. Well, the previous speaker was talking very much about creativity. And of course, creativity is my life. And this is what I've been doing all my life. And several years ago, I was inspired to create a very special platform, which is called Creative Women. So you can guess that one of my strongest messages to you today is to be creative, because creativity has an amazing power. It will always help us. And in a period like now, we are going through, all of us, through very, very, very difficult period. If you stay creative, if you stay focused, and you keep hoping, you will survive. But you have to keep this hope, and you have to be creative. With the Creative Women platform, we achieve, I hope, beautiful things. And Vicky was an amazing speaker recently at one of our webinars, and I look forward to doing much more with her very, very soon. We talk a lot about creativity and what it can bring into your life. So please do not underestimate the power of creativity. Be always creative, and especially now, whatever you can do to keep yourself focused on so many different things which could benefit your life, and of course it can benefit the life of people around. And I believe in always creating something which will benefit life of other people. This is so, so important. You cannot be selfish, because it will not take you very far. You have to think about creating values around you. This is extremely important. And my message would be, keep creating values, and inspire people around you. Well, I think I'm coming to an end of my time slot. And again, I'm so, so grateful to Vicky for creating this platform. Every amazing speaker giving so much wisdom, so much inspiration and transformation. We have to keep transforming. And again, right now during this pandemic, many of us realize that we cannot stay where we are. We have to accept many things to become stronger and to be ready for a change, for a positive change and transformation. So hope, inspiration, and transformation. Thank you very, very much, Vicky.
Thank you so much, Olga. It is just so fantastic to see your light shining as it always does. And yes, the Creative Women Conferences, love being part of that. And what you do in the world for women is truly inspirational. That's the thing. Hope, inspiration, and transformation. We're actually here all together spreading the same message. And what hope means to you, what hope means to other people in the world, what inspiration means to you and what inspiration means to other people in the world. And the same with transformation. You know, it might be slightly different. However, we are all one. And when we're bringing these messages, there might just be one snippet of one speaker that has really, really pierced your heart or pierced through your field and just thought, that is really going to make a difference to my life. And I know it's not just going to be one, I know it's going to be many. So yes, keep taking notes, keep taking notes. I'm getting even private messages coming through as well about all of the creativity, all of the inspiration and how amazing everybody is and how amazing this platform is. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to all the private messages that I'm getting through as well. So as we say, namaste. And which takes me, as I say, namaste, onto another doctor, another amazing lady who is hugely inspirational to me. And I say it every single Hit Talks, even though I love her, my daughter loves her even more. It's like, mummy, when are we going to go and see Amita again? So, you know, truly, truly, truly inspirational. And the other thing we always say when Amita comes onto our Hit Talks is that we both love unicorns so much. So we have so much in common because we both love unicorns. So, so Amita, I would love to ask you to unmute and bring yourself to the stage. And the other thing I was going to say as well, while Amita's getting herself ready, is that this day, today on the 20th, Sanjeev and Amita and I would have been in St. Lucia. So we were doing a large international event on Saturday the 20th and Sunday the 21st of June on health, wealth and happiness. So the St. Lucian Summit. But obviously the universe had different ideas and we're still here together, but we're not there in St. Lucia, but we did talk yesterday and we will be more than likely having another holiday in St. Lucia anyway, because it was so amazing, the last one. So Amita, if you can unmute, we'll actually bring you to, we'll bring you on. You need to, can you unmute? You're muted.
Okay.
Can you hear me now? Yes, you're there, my love. You're there. Welcome, welcome.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure always, Vicky. And thank you for that introduction. I feel the same way about you and everything amazing that you bring to the floor. Yes, I miss St. Lucia too. I'm actually going to tell you about 7 states of consciousness today because we're talking about transformation, and I want to tell you about the ultimate transformation. So when the ancient seers and sages talked about acting, they always said, go to the highest first, highest first. That was their main principle. So in terms of evolving and personal growth and transformation, what they wanted to see was the ultimate transformation of the humans into the next best phase of their lives, their highest being, and that was Homo sapiens version number 2. So we're going the next state of the human beings. And so in the past, 6,000 years ago in India, people talked about and wrote about the 7 states of consciousness. So the Vedas, which are the most ancient literature of the world, write about the 7 states of consciousness in great detail. And these states are actually very interesting in the sense that we are familiar with only 3 of them. We know the deep sleep, we know the sleep, the dreaming state, we know the waking state. And each one of these states, all of them actually have their own physiology, their own way of functioning. So in deep sleep, your mind is not active, neither is your body. In the dreaming state, your body is still or could be active, but your mind is active, but it's not rational thinking. It's different from the waking state. In the waking state, your mind is alert and so is your body. But in the fourth state of consciousness, you don't have this physiology anywhere else, where your body becomes completely deeply rested, but your mind remains perfectly sharp, absolutely sharp. And this state is called the fourth state of consciousness, or the transcendental state of consciousness. You get there through meditation, like Seshni talked about. And what happens during meditation is that your mind settles down, quiets, progressively gets quiet, so that it arrives at its source in pure silence. Now, when you're in that silence, when you're not doing anything, you're just simply being, what happens? You just become aware, you just have pure awareness. So this transcendental state, transcending means to go beyond the thought, beyond the intellect. So when you go beyond, you are simply being. And when you are being, you're just pure awareness, right? So in transcendence, you have an experience of pure awareness, but this is also your pure self. So you, in meditation, you have that experience of your pure self. But it is also a state of inner wakefulness where you really feel completely awake, like I said before. And so what happens is pure consciousness is becoming aware of its own unbounded nature. That's what happens in this transcending state. And so this is a state of calm and peace and bliss, but it's the bliss of connecting, like so many of you said, connecting to something much bigger and much more profound. And so what happens is you feel peaceful and blissful. And some people call it a touch of heaven. Isn't that beautiful? But I want to read to you what Henry David Thoreau said. He was a transcendentalist. He came to us about 125 years ago, not too far from where I live. And this is what he wrote about this state. So beautiful. He said, if with closed ears and eyes I consult consciousness for a moment, immediately are all walls and barriers dissipated. The earth rolls from under me, and I float in the midst of an unknown and infinite sea, or else heave and swell like a vast ocean. Now, I can tell you that most meditators have this experience. It's not a very unusual thing. But he also went on to say, we become like a still lake of the purest crystal, and without an effort on our part, our depths are revealed unto ourselves. All the world goes by us and is reflected in our deeps. Such clarity. So this is the experience of the transcendence, where we become very energized and we become crystal clear in our minds. And those are the two things that make us become very, very useful and productive in our lives. Now, the fifth state of consciousness is called cosmic consciousness. Now, this is, so far, we have been just experiencing the self in meditation. But when we pull this feeling out into our regular activity, so that this state of transcendence coexists with all the other states, so whether it's deep sleep, whether it's dreaming, whether it's waking or transcendence, then you are in a state of cosmic consciousness. So you never leave that light of the transcendent, never leaves you. It's always there. That inner wakefulness is always there. So these people are always cool and calm and peaceful and collected and happy. Now, this this is how the great leaders and the CEOs of the world function. This is how the saints and the sages and the seers function. They function from that level of being connected. So what are the attributes of this state, the fifth state? These people live in unboundedness. It's open. They live in freedom. They act out of fearlessness. There are no limitations to their actions. And because they're connected, they have all this in their inner world, what they experience, they bring to their outer world. So in the inner world, if there is intuition and there is insights and there is inspiration and there is innovation and creativity, these are things that each one of you has talked about. When they connect with these things, they don't just feel good and happy, they bring it out into the world. So what happens then is all those beautiful, powerful thoughts that they get through the intuition, through the inspiration, they are able to then translate into powerful thoughts, which become powerful actions, and these become powerful achievements, great achievements. And these are not just fulfillment for themselves. They're doing this not just for themselves, they're doing it for all of us. And that's the beauty of this state. In this state, the people live, they always have spontaneous right action. They always do the right thing. Everything they do is progressive. Everything is evolutionary. Everything is in accordance with the principles of our universe. When these people work, they also automatically have this least effort for maximum results. So all their activities just flow. They're in the flow. Everything is harmonious. Everything is smooth. Everything is just, there is no resistance. There's no obstacles to what they do because it's the right thing to do. And they also because they are in accord with nature. But remember the principle of the highest first. They always go to the principle of the highest first. Now, the sixth state of consciousness, we're getting to the last one. The sixth state of consciousness, it emerges through a development of the heart and the senses and the emotions and feelings. They become so sensitive and so evolved that you start to appreciate everything around you, the finest details of your entire environment. So you feel that you love, there is love and compassion, and there is appreciation for everybody around you. They're at their maximum. So it's not just for you or for the people you love, it's for everybody. It's for all your friends, your family, the whole humanity, the whole world. And this is what they call living as though the world is your family. And this is how, these are experiences. So this is how one person explained it. He said, in this state, the sixth state of consciousness, which is called the refined cosmic consciousness, some people call it God consciousness. In this state of consciousness, you experience unbounded compassion and being completely enveloped in an indescribable, soft, divine grace. Everything shines in a glorious golden light. Everything is covered with a fine gold mist. Now, that's the sixth state. What about the seventh state? Now, so far, in all of these states of consciousness, we have, we feel that separation between the self and the non-self. There is that distinction between the self and the non-self. The seventh state is called the unity consciousness. It is also called the state of enlightenment. It is also called the state of full self-realization. So in this state, that gap between the self and the non-self is wiped out. And when this gap is wiped out, then the individual self finds its reality in the universal self. So then you know that we are all one. So many of you have already said that. We are all one. I am that, you are that, all this is that, and that's all that there is, just the one. And how do you get there? How do you get to the seventh state of consciousness? You get there by taking your little tiny baby steps on your 1,000-mile journey. You get there by doing your meditation. Just meditate regularly. That's all you have to do to get to the next state, the highest state, and then the higher and the higher, and the very highest, the seventh state. So I bow to the divinity in you, and thank you for listening to me.
Oh, thank you so much. 7 states. And yeah, we've just got all this light around us. You have all this light around you, Amita. Thank you so much for sharing. I know that I've been getting some messages you've been talking about everyone making notes, the hearts, the feelings, the finest details. And Amita is the one that really pushed me into my transcendental meditation practice, because it had been coming into my field for many, many years, you know, kind of in and out and in and out. And then the more I met and the more I spent time with Amita, and the more that we spoke on the telephone and through messages, it was like, Vicky, just do it. Vicky, just do it. And I do have to say that it really has changed my life. It's changed my creativity. And I know many, many, many people do meditate, and everyone has their own ways. For me, following a certain practice and from the transcendental meditation and understanding, you know, understanding the whole process, because you do get taught how to meditate, and Sanjeev and Amita, they're great teachers of this as well, that, you know, when we want our creative state and to hit the 7th wave is it's just divine. It's just divine. And that's when the messages come and the synchronicities, which takes me on to my next speaker, talking about synchronicities, talking about messages, talking about alignment. Now, this gentleman is quite new to my life as well. But you know, when you meet somebody and you think, I've known this man for such a long time, you know, we chat again as if we've known each other forever, as a soul connection. And Veronica, who is my business partner, my dearest friend, and just the divine goddess that she is. You know, we talk all the time about the amazing people that we both know throughout the world, and you know, it's just inspirational. You know, I'm getting quite emotional myself now as Veronica and I are chatting about, you know, not just the speakers, but the whole idea of where, when we put our hearts and when we put our souls and we put our minds and we put our wisdom and we put our inspiration together with no agenda, nothing but just pure service from the right place, then honestly, magic really, really does happen. And it happens from oneness. It happens from wholeness. And Danny is become a very good friend of mine. And he does talk a lot about oneness. He does talk a lot about wholeness and really finding yourself. And I can't wait to hear Danny talk. You know, we're going to be on podcasts together. There's lots of things that are happening, and for him to be part of HIT as well, I'm truly grateful. And I'd love to give you the stage, Danny. And, you know, I know he will tell you a little bit about him, but, you know, 10 years a monk, somebody who has grown a company to nearly, well, just over, I think it was 100 million turnover from the corporate days, and is also a gentleman that's really helped me bring a lot of my corporate, a lot of my business background into my spiritual work, for instance, because it's quite easy for us to separate them off, separate of, you know, the masculine corporate side to the angelic unicorn side. But whenever we are one and when there's no separation, we can bring it all together. So Danny, you are an inspiration, and I'd like to give you the floor. Thank you so much for being here.
Vicky, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much to all of the speakers that have gone before me. I don't do this that much, where I allow myself to come completely open, completely unprepared, completely malleable by the things that other people have said before me to present, especially in a conversation of 8 minutes. It normally takes me about 8 minutes just to say hello. So this is going to be very interesting and very important for me. And before I even get started, I want to sort of invite everybody to feel themselves at their heart, to move from the head, because we've gotten a lot of information. A lot of people have shared with you so much that I want to ask you to sit within your heart and feel the beauty of what's happening between these moments, between the words that everybody's saying, in the silence that exists, in each presence that comes about here, in each of you that are watching as I was watching. And I think about the beautiful music that Andreas played, and listening to Sejni talk. I'll never forget the richness of what she said, realizing that I create my happiness. To see the little fireball of Jackie Ruiz and the magic, which is magic times 10. And the resiliency that she has, the beauty of Olga's sound and music that comes through her very voice as it does through her concert piano. To listen to Amrita and talking about the 7 levels of consciousness from the Vedas, something that I know and love deeply, and to hear the beauty of that message. And now I want to ask you to change perspective. Because what the mosaic was for me, that was the book. I think it's over here. Yeah, there it is. The book that I wrote is the story, very simple, very innocent, very, very easy to get. It's the story of a boy who loses his parents 2 years apart on the same day. And when he asks the adults where his parents are, they tell him they're in a place called heaven. And he sets out in that moment as a young boy in search of the place called heaven. But the people that he meets along the way are not the rabbis and the priests and the ministers and the swamis and the gurus and the aborigines elders and the medicine men and the shamans and the priests. What he meets is the garbage man and the homeless man, the blind lady and the gardener. And what he wonders, why am I sitting with these people? But in sitting with them, what he realizes is, I'm here. Why don't I take a moment to listen to what they have to say? And in 100% of the cases, when he listens to what people say, he realizes the person that he initially saw isn't at all who he thought they were when he came up to see them. They were completely different than the person he thought he saw. And when it happened over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, what he realized is his ability to see the world was limited by the world that he saw. He didn't see the world at all. He saw the world that he saw. He didn't hear what anybody was saying. He heard what he heard, because that was what his capacity was. And in a moment, that moment, he looked over to the right and he saw a monk unzipping the sky and walking him through to a parallel reality. And in that parallel reality, he met the wise one, who was the keeper of the mosaic. And that's the trailer for the book. If you're interested, I'd love you to get it, but okay, who cares? What was that moment of unzipping the sky really? For me, that moment was a perspective change. Do you remember that picture that's a black and white drawing, that one way you look at it and it looks like it's an old hag, and the other way you look at it, it looks like a young socialite? Well, the first time I saw it, I looked at it and I saw an old hag, and my friend came up to me and said, "What else do you see there?" And I said, "What are you talking about? It's an old hag." They said, "Do you see a beautiful young socialite?" And I said, "What are you talking about? There's no way this old hag is a beautiful socialite. What are you talking about?" And he said, "Sit with it, look at it, change perspective, do something different." And I changed my perspective suddenly, and suddenly I couldn't even see the old hag. All I saw was the young socialite, because the way that same picture showed me who it was entirely different. Well, you know something? To me, that's the beauty of our life that we live. This COVID-19, we can look at it as a curse. We can look at it as something that destroys us. But being a monk for 10 years in a monastery, for me, it was so easy to enjoy the isolation that it gave me, of being able to sit in the stillness of my own place without any hesitations, without any other things coming, right? And it became this most beautiful time for me to really change myself and adapt myself and to become something entirely different. But what if we see the world differently? Imagine seeing what you see and sliding that to the right for a moment. What would be behind what it is that you see? What if you got yourself out of the way of yourself and just allowed yourself to literally see what's there? In my book, Mo, the main character, meets somebody called the Mirror Maker. And the Mirror Maker has this shop that nobody can see. Nobody comes to it because people don't even know it's there. So by the fact that Mo walks into the door of the shop, she already sees, wow, here's a person that can see things other people don't see. And she watches as he stands in front of this beautiful mirror. And she comes up behind him and she says, I know by the fact that you're in my shop that you see what others don't see. But what do you see when you look in the mirror? And Mo just tells her all of what he sees, the stories of his life, the stories of his travels, the stories. And she says, thank you very much. That's what you see. What I'm asking you is, what does the mirror see when it looks at you? It doesn't know all your stories. It doesn't know all the things that you think are good or bad. It doesn't know any of that. Tell me what the mirror sees when it looks at you. If there is one thing that I can leave you with this morning is where I am in San Diego, this evening, this afternoon, this night, wherever you are. If there's one thing that I can leave you with, is what would happen if you were able to change your perspective? Everybody's spoken about it in one way or another. What would happen if you were able to see the world that you don't see? To hear things that you never heard before, to listen not only to the words that we're saying, but to the spaces between those words. What would the space between the words that we're saying do? It is with that my time slowly comes to an end, very quickly comes to an end. And I want to tell you with all of my heart, from the love of my being to the love of your being, I embrace you, I hold you, I respect you, I see you, I honor you, I hear you, I love you, and I accept you. Thank you so much, Vicky. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you to all who have gone before me. God bless you and keep in peace.
Thank you so much. Well, I know that when we do our Hit Talks podcast, which is Honest Inner Truths, where I can ask Danny anything I like and he has to talk from the heart, then that is going to be absolutely amazing. So thank you so much, Danny, for sharing that. And I do have to say that, you know, I don't promote things on Hit Talks, but it's an inspiration. It is an inspiration. To the point that even me and my clients are actually working through part of it as well. So the blind woman is the part that, when Mo is searching for happiness and the blind woman is happy and she can't even see, so, but it's what we're talking about through the whole of this, about, finding inner happiness, finding inner joy, and finding inner love. And when we talk about inspiration, it's what do we do with our time to find inspiration? What do we do with our time to bring hope into our life? What do we do with our time to really transform? Now, I do not watch TV, and I spend majority of the time, if I'm not talking to Veronica, which is usually around about 14 hours of the day, but if I'm not talking to Veronica, I'm on my computer and, I'm doing whatever you do. And I don't watch TV until I was actually suggested by quite a few people to watch this movie on Netflix. And I was like, well, I don't watch anything on Netflix. We got Netflix, but I don't watch anything on Netflix. Watch this. I don't know who's not on mute here, but somebody is laughing. so I don't know if Veronica, you can find out who's not on mute, but anyway, so yeah, so I don't watch Netflix at all. So I was asked to watch this, and I thought, okay, well, I'll watch it. So, and I was inspired, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like heart-wrenching. I really, really, really want to have this man on Hit Talks. And it was just like, can I? And this is where trust comes in. This is when faith comes in. This is when you say, Vicky, you're serving from the heart. This is for the world. And anyway, this gentleman then did reach out to me and say, yes, Vicky, I would love to, which I was honored. So he's all the way from Mumbai. So it's the first time that we've actually had India on Hit Talks. You know, we do go global. You wait till you see how global we are at the next Hit Talks as well. And he's the brains of Gordon Gekko with the heart of Jeremy Maguire. And he has directed the film called The Lift Boy. So if you haven't seen it on Netflix, I would suggest you to go and watch it, because the inspirational stories behind this movie, this film, really gave me some heart-wrenching tears. And to have you here, Jonathan, I want to say thank you so much. And I would like
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks for having me.
Your
Thank
8
you.
minutes.
Lovely. So hello, everyone. Good evening. Good morning. I'm from Mumbai. My name is Jonathan Augustin. I'm a brown man with a white name. I'm sitting in Mumbai right now. It's midnight here. So firstly, thanks, Vicky, for having me. And thank you, Rick Nehera, for endorsing me and, putting me out there in the world. Because, being a brown man with a white name, making the movies that I make, the movies like the Lift Boy, it's very difficult to get it out there. When you don't have studio backing, when you don't have a godfather in the industry. But the beauty of doing something with purity is that your vibe attracts your tribe. And I've been quite lucky with that. So, Rick, thank you. Thanks, Vicky, once again. I really don't know what to talk about. The only thing I can talk about is my journey. So I'm going to share with you guys my journey. And that's the only thing I know. I know my journey and I know filmmaking. So I'm going to talk to you a bit about filmmaking and a bit about life and, my journey so far. So I was born in Mumbai. I got obsessed with filmmaking. I'm going to use the word obsessed. I know sometimes it might have a negative connotation, but I love the word obsession because I don't like the word passion. I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about cars. I'm passionate about the stock market. I'm passionate about motivational speaking. I'm passionate about cooking, but I don't do all of that. I enjoy that, but I don't do that. I only do films because I'm obsessed with films. So I'm going to talk to you about, finding something that you're obsessed with. And for me, that was filmmaking. And going for it, and the power of manifesting something with all your heart and utmost purity. So I grew up in Bombay. I got into the industry of filmmaking at the age of 16. I went to the UK when I was 18 years old. I used to watch a lot of movies on Netflix. At the time, Netflix used to be a DVD company, and I love movies. I wanted to make movies. I tried to make a film in Hollywood. That never happened. I tried to make a biopic on Ismail Merchant by calling James Ivory, the co-founder of Merchant Ivory Productions, and I said, my name is John. I was 19 years old, from my dormitory, calling up from a landline that it was a T-Mobile landline, if I'm not wrong. And I called him up and I said, my name is Jonathan Augustin. I'm a motion picture director. I would like to make a biopic on Ismail Merchant. I would love for you to write it for me. And he was an Oscar-nominated director back then, but he wasn't. This was a few years before he won the Oscar. This is before Call Me by Your Name. But he was big. James Ivory was very big, and he asked me, "What have you done before?" And I'm like, "Nothing. This is my first motion picture. I'm going to be producing and directing this." I said, "Kid, call me back when you've done something." And that's when I decided that I got to do something with my life, and I got to come back to Mumbai and make a movie that I'm obsessed with, a movie with soul. And I wasn't able to find that. So my entire journey has been, a journey filled with failure. And I'm going to talk to you a lot about failure because my entire journey has been constant failure. But luckily, I've been quite lucky, and I've been at it, and I've been failing forward. So yeah, I came back to Mumbai. The idea for the Lift Boy, came to me on 4th March 2015, when I had an encounter with this real life Lift Boy in Mumbai, and that's how I started my journey. But the whole journey started with this one guy, having this dream of making a movie. And I used to run a film club in the UK, and we used to watch movies on Netflix. Netflix used to be a DVD company. But at that point, I manifested to myself that the day I make a film, it's going to be on Netflix. Netflix was transitioning from a DVD company to streaming, and I had no clue what movie I'm going to make. So the beauty of this journey of mine has been the power of positive manifestation. So imagining something and then seeing it through and failing forward. My entire journey has been constant failure. The first failure was when I was in junior KG, when I was 4 years old. I flunked my grade, but I was good in theatrics and drama, and the teacher passed me. The second setback failure was when I came into the industry when I was 16, and I tried to make a movie, and people were not hiring me, and I literally walked up to this production company, this big producer in Mumbai, Kunal Kapoor, Shashi Kapoor's eldest son. He was making ad films. He was a very big ad filmmaker. And I said, I'll work for free. And he said, when can you start? I'm like, right now. And he hired me. So that was my first, getting knocked around here and there, and, walking up to this producer, sitting in his office for 8 hours. I didn't even go to pee for 8 hours because I was anxious that, if he walks in and I'm not there, I'll miss the bus. Right. So I sat right there holding my bladder. And then the minute he said he'll hire me, I ran to the washroom and I peed. And yeah, it was the sigh of relief. So that was the another failure which I managed to overcome by being persistent. The next failure was trying to make the Smile Merchant biopic at the age of 19 and trying to break into Hollywood, and I was corrupted by the idea of success. I focused more on the destination than the journey, and that was a mistake I made in my journey as an artist. And and then finally when I'm 29 years old, so I'm probably the youngest guy on this panel. Youngest speaker on this panel, not guy. Sorry, apologies for that. Youngest speaker on this panel, and my second, another mistake that I made, another flaw that I kept doing till the time I was 23 or 24 was I was obsessed with the idea of success, and I did not define success very clearly, and I wanted to go to Hollywood, and I was obsessed with with having the Hollywood life, being recognized in Hollywood. And then when I started introspecting and asking myself, what is happiness? Happiness is being able to make movies, and I can make movies anywhere. I can make them right here. So, and that's how my journey started. And I had this encounter with the lift boy, and I wrote the script. And when I wrote that title, someone's commenting right here, Jonathan. I think Jackie might be the youngest. Apologies, sorry about that. Yeah. So when I wrote that script in 2015, I started writing the script. From day one, the minute I wrote the title on the piece of paper, I manifested the fact that the film will be on Netflix. And in April 2020, the film released in theaters in India in Jan 2019. We distributed the film ourselves. I had no clue how to distribute the film. I went to one of the biggest distributors in the country. I booked a meeting with him, and I said, "Listen, I don't know how to distribute films. So talk to me as if you're talking to a child. And can you please teach me distribution?" And he taught distribution. He's like, "Oh, you got to book this theater. You got to give the theater owners a minimum guarantee." And I paid for my distribution by maxing out my credit cards, right? And I borrowed money at 18% interest, and we paid that back. So I made my film, and it costed me about $300,000 to make my film, and we borrowed that at 18% interest. And the film released in theaters in India on 18 Jan 2019. We did UAE in April 2019. We did Taiwan in August 2019. We were in theaters in Taiwan for 3 weeks. We were scheduled to release in theaters in South Africa, North America, France, and Singapore in June 2020. And the pandemic struck, right? And that's when we lost hope. Again, another big failure. And I sent a cold email to Netflix, and luckily they knew of the film, and we instantly we closed with Netflix. And in April 2020, on 27th April 2020, Netflix premiered The Lift Boy worldwide on their platform in 190 countries. And today I'm sitting here talking to all of you. And the beauty of Lift Boy being on Netflix is that I got to meet Rick Nahara, and through Rick I met a lot of other people, and it's been amazing. So the entire journey, to summarize it, has been constant failure. But my request to everyone: enjoy failure and enjoy failing forward. The only thing you should do is fail forward. So that's the only message I have to share: is fail. Keep failing, keep enjoying the journey. Don't worry about the destination, because your goalpost is going to keep changing. and just keep feeling forward and be happy, you know, and have the attitude of gratitude. So thank you for having me. And once again, Rick Nahera, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to Rick has sent me a lovely script called Mariachi Club, which I've read, and I'm it's there inside me, and I'm looking forward to, you know, sending him that email very soon. You know, I'm just very waiting to get obsessed with it. I'm letting it marinate, you know, and looking forward to coming to Hollywood and working with Rick Nahera. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. I just loved your enthusiasm and the amazingness. Oh, Danny, you didn't talk about the amazingness, Danny. We were talking earlier on, the speakers in the back room, and we were all talking about amazingness. And Danny said, well, there's only me and Rick here at the moment, and we're kind of covered, sorry, that's the wrong word. We're actually surrounded by just women. And he was like, what about calling amazing Nat? No, what did you say, Danny? I need to unmute you. What did you say it was?
Amazing.
Amazing, that's it. So it's not just amazing. He wanted it to be amazing, which is a new made-up word to actually bring the men into it. So thank you.
Really?
So amazing. Yes, I love it. Which brings us, so power of positivity and manifestation and failure. How many times are we quite hard on ourselves about things not working out? And I'm sure that each and every one of you can, oh my gosh, yeah, this is not happening, this is not happening the way it's meant to be. And I have the conversation so often to myself, to my clients, to my friends, to my family. Well, perhaps that's not how it's meant to be. So as we fail, we're failing for a reason, but are we learning from these failures? And are we aware of these failures? And when you're surrounded with a great, amazing people, like I am with all these Hit Talks speakers, and like you are now being part of this community of Hit Talk speakers, we're surrounded with amazingness. We're surrounded with amazingness. I can't say it, so I can't use it. We're surrounded by magic that we can fail forward and we can enjoy the journey and not so much the destination, which brings me on to my very good friend Sanjeev. And we only had a conversation 3 days ago about enjoying the journey and it's not the destination. So synchronicity about everything going on here. So my good friends and part of Hit Talks, Dr. Sanjeev Chopra from Boston, I would again like to say thank you so much for being part of Hit Talks, and I want you to finish off this episode with your amazing wisdom of hope, of inspiration and transformation. So if you want to unmute yourself, you then have the floor.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so very much, Vicky. Jonathan, great to meet you. You may not realize, but Rick sent me an email 4 days in a row saying, have you watched that movie yet? Have you watched that movie yet? So I watched it with Amita. It was so uplifting. I was in tears, and I've sent an email to lots and lots of my friends saying, you got to watch this movie. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So I was upstairs in the study yesterday. I have a very nice large study with maybe a few thousand books. And one of them had fallen from the shelf, and lo and behold, it was a book I wrote with my brother, Deepak Chopra. And it's called Brotherhood, Dharma, Destiny, and the American Dream. So we did a national tour in New York, Washington, and then LA for 5 days. And then it became a national bestseller. But what was really amazing for me was, in writing the book, reliving our childhood and our early lives in America. Deepak and his wife Rita came in 1970, and my wife Amita and I came in 1972. And it got me thinking about the word dharma. So the word dharma is a Sanskrit word. It's very hard to define it, but it incorporates within it several elements: vocation, moral compass, authenticity, truth, core values, living with purpose. Many of the speakers, if not all of the speakers today and in previous HIT talks, are living their dharma. That is why they seem to be so happy and to be so fulfilled. There's a wonderful story that I read about 35 years ago about the meaning of dharma. So in the early 60s, the Indian government decides, and then the World Health Organization in 1968 joins the effort to eradicate smallpox from all of India. India had a population then of 469 million people. That's a pretty daunting task, but they were dedicated and committed to do it. So they've gone around the country and they've inoculated pretty much everyone against smallpox, but there are a few holdouts. In the foothills of the Himalayas, in a small village, there's a small-time farmer. I think his name was Lakshman Singh. He had a wife and 2 kids, and when they came to inoculate him, he said, "You cannot inoculate me or my family. God ordains who will be diseased, who will be healthy." So they're stymied. A few holdouts like this could ruin the whole program. So they go back, they strategize, and they decide, we're going to go invade his hut tomorrow morning. We're going to take the police with us. If he refuses, we're going to forcibly inoculate him. So they arrive at 5:30 in the morning, and again he says, "You cannot inoculate me. God ordains who will be diseased, who will be healthy." So the policemen pin him down to the ground. They rip his shirt. They jab him with a needle. The wife is screaming. The kids are screaming. 20 minutes later, they're all inoculated. The whole village has assembled with all this commotion. And when it's over, he turns to the team and he says, "Please sit down." He turns to his wife and he says, "Make tea for them." And he goes to the back of his hut. There's a vegetable plot. He brings the ripest, juiciest cucumbers, radishes, washes it, and he serves it to them. And they go, "What are you doing? We invaded your hut. We forcibly inoculated you against smallpox. And now you're serving us tea and radishes and cucumbers. You're treating us like royalty." And he says to them, "I believed God ordains who'll be diseased, who'll be healthy. I refused your inoculation. I upheld my dharma. You obviously believed it was your dharma to forcibly inoculate me. It is now over, and you are guests in my home. This is the least I can offer you." So dharma can change. As a physician, I've seen it very often. A patient with very advanced liver cancer, but we are offering immunotherapy, and then unfortunately has a massive stroke, aspirates. Neurologists come and see him in consultation. They look at the CAT scans, MRIs. It's pretty much brain dead. There's no hope. And now from trying to save this patient with liver cancer, I have to go and talk to the family and talk about compassion and care. How can we make him comfortable in the last few days of his life? How should we not prolong dying by putting him on a machine to breathe for him? It's not going to really do much. So dharma can change from moment to moment. Each one of us has a dharma to our family, to our friends, to the place of worship we go to, the place we work, to our neighbors, to society. We have a dharma to planet Earth, which is, I believe, healing. You can now see birds chirping. The canals in Venice have never been so clean, dolphins. Amritsar, India, you can see the Himalayas, beautiful peaks, snow-covered. There are children in Delhi who for the first time are seeing blue skies. and stars at night. So planet Earth is healing. We can take that cue. We can also heal. And I talked about this in previous HIT talks, but we should celebrate this opportunity, as many of you have said. This is the time, the opportunity to do good, to fulfill your dharma. It is said that if you are not fulfilling your dharma and you're in a vocation, something you're doing, and you do it perfectly, it will not give you as much happiness as living your dharma, even though you may do it imperfectly. So I've had the privilege of writing a book on this, based on a talk I've given, Dharma, Happiness, and Living with Purpose. And the book became, Seshni referred to it, The 2 Most Important Days, How to Find Your Purpose and Live a Happier and Healthier Life. It's a wonderful quote by Mark Twain, who once famously said, the 2 most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out why. Many of us have found that purpose, and for the rest, it's a journey. I think everyone on the screen here has found their wonderful purpose in life, which inspires the rest of us. So thank you very much, Vicky, and thank you everyone for listening. Namaste. I bow to the divinity in you.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev. Amazing as always. And to finish off this episode of Hope, Inspiration and Transformation. And as I say, you can only go through the messages here, and everyone that's watching the replay who can't see the messages, I know that you would have actually felt some of them. I'm going to read some of the messages out to you actually. And it says, there's wisdom from the heart of being. Beautiful, straight from the heart. We're talking much about the lift boy, so people have a look at the lift boy. Love it. The Dharma's there. There's moral compasses, intuition, galactic unicorns. Yay! Loving having these conversations with people. Together we're growing. Thank you for inviting me. Pure awesomeness. You get the feeling if you're watching the replay, the messages that are coming through, the love and the inspiration that this is spreading. Now it is live, so the next episode of HIT Talks is on the Friday, the 3rd of July. And the reason we're going to the Friday is HIT Talks is actually created around energetic days. So they're not just, the days aren't just spiked out of the blue. You know, there's a lot of creation that goes on behind the scenes of HIT Talks. You know, the 8 speakers, 8 minutes, the 4 women, the 4 men, excuse me, the polarities of yin and yang and masculine and feminine, and everything that goes on behind the scenes of HIT Talks. There is a lot of work to bring this magic together. So the 3rd of July is a day that's totally led from the heart. It's a portal day, which means that we get some galactic guidance on this day as well. And it's a warrior day, so it's a woman warrior day. And I'm not saying that men can't be warriors, but this is a yellow warrior day. And it's also a day where we can flower. So it's a day where we're going to be blossoming, and we're going to be bringing in new seeds and new blossoming and new creative ideas. So it is the 3rd of July. So, and the speakers for the 3rd of July, before anyone jumps off, we actually have Canada coming in as the lineup of speakers for the first time, and such a divine being. The website is live. The speakers are going to be announced in the next day or so. We're just waiting for the rest of their bios. We have somebody from the United Kingdom who's one of the biggest care home operators. We are trying to get HIT Talks into the care homes so we can really start inspiring the elders that have served us, the elders that have all the wisdom, and you know, our parents and our grandparents, and you know, so that is absolutely amazing. Truly amazing gentleman, does a lot of work in India. We also have, I'm not going to tell you the lineup, but we have PhD doctors that have written on, and I'm actually going to read it because I've got the book, written on the 9 waves of creation, all about quantum physics, all about the destiny of humanity, all about the Mayan calendar. So many amazing things for the next one. So please register. I think Veronica's put the link in there. It's www.hit-talks.com for the next episode. But before we jump off, one thing I just feel really cool to do is just really, it is the new moon, and the new moon is all about new beginnings. It's all about us letting go what's happened in the last couple of weeks and going forward. It's the summer solstice, it's winter solstice, depending on where you are in the world. And the energies around us at the moment, with especially with this magic container, really are transformational. So I would like to invite you, if you want to stay on for the next few minutes, for me to do a little bit of a guided meditation transmission for you. And this transmission is about the initiator. This is the initiator, which is all about us to really align our lives, for us to actually look at the challenges that are coming into our lives, and for us to unify, for us to really have clarity about where we're going forward, for us to be able to take quantum leaps, for us to be able to really understand our inner truths. So this was a big guidance from the initiator for me to do this for you. So I would like to invite you all to, you can turn your cameras off, because I know a lot of you that are on live here like to turn your cameras off. So I'd like to turn your cameras off if you'd like to, and close your eyes. And just take some deep breaths. And just as we were talking about today, about the gratitude that we have for each other, but also remembering the gratitude that we have for ourselves. Being grateful for the failures that we've had, being grateful for the successes that we've had, but having the gratitude from the heart, having the gratitude from the soul, and not having the gratitude from any ego, any control. So as you're just breathing softly, I invite you to pull up your pelvic floor and just hold in your 3 base chakras. So you're kind of pulling your belly button in. And then just imagine a red laser beam of light shooting from the base of your tailbone, shooting all the way down to the center of Mother Earth. Just feeling shooting down, and this laser beam of light is wrapping itself around the center of Mother Earth. It's like a cord, and it's connecting from your base, and it's connecting all the way down. And as it's wrapping around the center of Mother Earth, just feel the energies. Just feel the energies that are being pulled up from Mother Earth all the way into your body, into your field, into your quantum field. The mother energy, the nurturing, the love, the protection. Just feel it a moment, and just imagine, just if you've got the mother's wings around your shoulders. As you're feeling this energy, just feel this energy then coming up into your heart. And we're living from the heart, and so she's bringing all this energy from Mother Earth all the way up into your heart, and it's just connecting there, and it's just vibrating into every single cell of your body. And this is vibrating into every single cell of your body, as we're actually then bringing in the initiator into your heart, aligning your life, aligning the energies around you, aligning the people around you, the right people. Because you will know the right people that are in your life. You will feel it in your heart. You will feel it in your solar plexus, in your gut. And the initiator is here to show you the truth. But the truth is inside of you. And the energy from Mother is actually bringing this up to your heart, so you can actually feel the truth, so you can take quantum leaps, so you can break through, so you can grow. And then I invite you to just take your awareness to the top of your head. And I invite you to imagine a laser beam of light shooting from the crown of your head all the way up to your soul star, which is in the sky, the cosmos, the galaxies, going up to the 7th wave, as Amita said. And this energy is going up and creating so much magic. And you have all the masculine energy of Father Sky, all the wisdom, all the love, all the knowledge of the galactic unicorns, the galactic beings, all the energy of the universe coming all the way down from your soul star, coming all the way down into the crown of your head. And you can feel this connection of this golden beam of light coming down through your head, coming through your third eye, coming through your throat chakra and meeting in the heart. So you have the polarities of the masculine and the feminine energy in your heart. And just feel it, taking some deep breaths, just feeling all the energy around you. You've still got your base chakras held tightly. You're holding all this energy in. You can close your eyes and you can look up at your third eye if you feel. And just feel this connection, because this connection is really, really strong. And I just do invite you just to breathe softly. You can release your pelvic floor now. This connection is there if you wish. I'm just going to bring some galactic energies in just to really, really, really penetrate this initiator into your field so you can really feel the truth. You can make quantum leaps in your life. You can grow and break through because you have the power from your soul and your heart to do this. So just breathe gently with all the gratitude and the love and the magic and the opportunities and everything we've spoken about here today. Let's get this into your field. All these energies of the initiator is just being penetrated into every single cell of your body, into all of your quantum field, and just feel the energy flowing. Just feel the energy flowing as it's coming around you. It's penetrating every single cell of your body with all of this galactic wisdom, with all of this love, with all of this knowledge, with this trust, with this freedom, with this hope, with this inspiration, with this transformation, knowing that you have the initiator with you, knowing that everything that you wish, everything that you desire, you have inside of you. And you have the people around you that can help you bring this into your field. And that is the inspiration of HIT Talks. It's not just to bring amazing people together from all over the world, but to truly, truly, truly bring hope, inspiration, and transformation into every single cell of your body. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. And that is the end of this episode of HIT Talks. Thank you so much to everybody for being part of it. And one thing I have asked is, it has been asked whether or not we could have some questions. So if there's anybody that would like to have any questions, give any questions out, then you're more than welcome. I'm going to stop the recording. We're going to stop the recording so the questions can come through for as long as we want, because we put this into the podcast. But everyone that's watching back live, I would like to say watching back the replay, I would like to say thank you so much. And don't forget to register at www.hit-talks.com for the next episode on the 3rd of July.
Namaste.